So let's talk about negotiation. A lot of us think of it as, this big, scary confrontation, but it's not. It's really just a fundamental skill for getting things done with other people. So let's dive right in and unpack the science behind a great deal.
Have you ever been in a situation where you get exactly what you asked for, like right away, and your first thought isn't yes, but, oh no, I could have asked for more? That sinking feeling has a name. It's called the winner's curse. And it's a huge clue that a truly successful negotiation is about so much more than just hitting your target number.
All right, so the real secret to winning a negotiation doesn't happen at the table. Nope, it happens long before you even sit down. It's all in the prep work. This is the game before the game, and honestly, it's where most deals are won or lost.
Let me introduce you to your new best friend in any negotiation, your BATNA. That stands for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. This is so much more than a Plan B. This is your source of power. Knowing exactly what you'll do if you walk away from the table gives you the confidence to not take a bad deal.
Now, it's super important not to confuse your BATNA with your reservation point, or your RP. The reservation point is your absolute final walkaway number. It's the highest a buyer will go or the lowest a seller will accept. If you cross this line, the deal is off. Period.
Let's break it down like this. Your BATNA is an action you can take, like accepting that other job offer. It gives you options, it gives you leverage. Your reservation point, on the other hand, is just a limit. It's a cliff you won't step over. One is about power and confidence, the other is your ultimate safety net.
So, when the seller's bottom line is lower than the buyer's top line, you get this beautiful little overlap. And that overlap has a name, the ZOPA, or the Zone of Possible Agreement. This is the playground where a deal can actually get made.
Okay, so you've done your homework, you know your BATNA, you know your reservation point. You're at the table. Now you face the most important choice of the entire conversation. Are you there to just slice up the pie, or can you actually make the whole pie bigger for everyone?
Just picture a pizza for a second. Is there only one pizza with 8 slices and your only goal is to grab as many as you can, which means the other person gets less? Or could you work together to add more toppings, maybe throw in some garlic bread, and make the entire meal better for both of you?
This really comes down to two totally different mindsets. The distributive, or win-lose approach, is all about claiming value. It's focused on one thing, usually price, and it's short-term. But the integrative, or win-win approach, is about creating value. It looks at multiple issues like delivery time, quality, future business, and it's focused on building a long-term relationship.
I want to tell you a quick story that perfectly illustrates a huge hidden trap in negotiation. So you've got two sisters, and they're fighting over the last orange in the house. After a bunch of arguing, they decide to compromise. They do the fair thing and cut it right in half, 50-50. Sounds reasonable, right?
Well, here's what happens next. The first sister takes her half, squeezes out all the juice, and throws the peel in the trash. The second sister takes her half, grates off the peel to use in a cake, and throws the fruity part away. Think about that. They both threw away the exact thing the other person wanted. Their fair deal was actually a complete disaster of waste.
This story gets at a really cool concept called Pareto optimality. It's a fancy term for a no-waste deal. It's a deal where you literally can't make one person better off without making the other person worse off. If the sisters had just talked for 30 seconds, they could have reached a perfect no-waste solution. One gets all the juice, the other gets all the peel. That's the goal of a true win-win negotiation.
But here's the thing. Negotiation isn't just a math problem. It isn't all about logic and tactics and finding the optimal solution. Because at the end of the day, it's driven by something way more powerful and way less predictable: human feelings.
So let's play a quick game. It's called the ultimatum game. Imagine I hand you $100. Your job is to offer a portion of it to a total stranger. If the stranger accepts your offer, you both get to keep the cash. But, and this is a big but, if they reject your offer, you both walk away with nothing. So how much do you offer?
Now, if you think about it logically, that stranger should accept any offer, even just $1, right? I mean, $1 is better than $0. It's free money.
But that's not what happens in real life. Not even close. Most people will angrily reject any offer that's less than about $30. They would rather get nothing than feel like they were treated unfairly. And that tells you something profound. Our need for fairness can be even stronger than our desire for personal gain.
And this leads us to what might be the most underrated concept in this whole field,
subjective value. It's the simple idea that how you feel about a deal is often way more important than the actual terms of the deal itself. Those feelings stick around, and they have major consequences.
A really great deal satisfies you on 4 different levels. First, there's the instrumental part. Yeah, you got a good price. But then there's the feeling about yourself. Did you act with integrity? And the feeling about the process. Did they listen to you? Did they treat you with respect? And finally, the relationship. Do you trust this person enough to work with them again? A truly great deal nails all 4.
Because every single negotiation you have casts a long shadow. It doesn't just end when you shake hands. It builds your reputation, and that reputation will follow you, influencing every single deal you do in the future.
You know, over time, you're building a reputation. Are you known as the tricky, manipulative type? Or are you seen as tough but ultimately fair? Are you the reasonable person who looks for common ground? Or are you a cream puff, someone who just rolls over too easily? That reputation walks into the room before you do. And get this, failing to reach a deal can actually start a nasty cycle called a distributive spiral. The frustration and bad feelings from that one failed negotiation can bleed over, making you more competitive and less cooperative in your next negotiation, even if it's with a totally different person.
Just how powerful are these feelings? Well, one study looked at managers negotiating their job offers, and it found that how they felt about the process, whether they felt respected and heard, was a better predictor of their job satisfaction a year later than the actual salary they negotiated. Let that sink in. How they felt mattered more than what they got.
So the next time you find yourself in a negotiation, remember those 2 sisters and the orange. Ask yourself, am I just here to fight for the biggest slice of the pie, or am I going to be the person who figures out how to bake a much bigger, much better pie for everyone involved? The choice is always yours.